Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ESL One and to the Statue of Liberty out in the Bay right now. We're not quite in the Bay, we're actually in Madison Square Garden Theatre. It's a real pleasure to be here and a real honour, of course, to bring you some Dota 2 action. Already 2 quarterfinals down and 2 more still to come. We spoil you lovely people at home and here in the crowd. Thank you for coming down, by the way, on a weekday, of course. It's a very busy day in downtown New York, and we are in the heart of Manhattan here. So we appreciate everyone that's come down to join us and enjoy some Dota 2 action. We have a fantastic game coming up. The panellists are all here ready, waiting with bated breath, and some with some exposure to wallet, I would imagine.
To wallet?
Yeah, extraction of wallet cash. Well, one of your teams involved, or maybe both of your teams are involved.
They're not actually my teams. I don't have a stake in any of this.
Okay, all right. Okay, he's denying all knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fine. We've got a few minutes before the teams are ready for the next game, EG versus Alliance. I know I'm ribbing you, but generally speaking, this is a nightmare scenario, isn't it, for them?
I think this is the most anticipated game of the quarterfinals.
Certainly from us and from the crowd, but for the players, do they care too much? Do the organisations care too much?
No, it's another game. It doesn't matter who your enemy. Obviously, if someone was to have a stake in both teams, they prefer that it didn't happen in the very first match of the day. But yeah, I think for the players, this has no...
You did brilliantly at keeping a straight face there. You could be a poker player.
He is.
Wow. See, you see that? I wouldn't know whether he had like a 2 and a 7
really
offsuit or a pair of aces. I would have no idea right now. Seb, that was a fun last game, but what are you expecting for the next one?
I'm so excited for the next one. I've been waiting that one the whole day.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't want to watch the others, but well, if I could have 10 EG versus Alliance today, I would have 10 EG versus Alliance.
So I'm just going to make an apology to all the guys at Team Secret, Navi US, and all the people in Vici Gaming at the start of the day, and RV as well, because Seb just basically told you you're all rubbish.
I'll say...
What about the Naga Spectre thing? You know, like the 100 minutes Naga and Spectre and just the growth.
It'll be an interesting match if they ban the Naga. Okay. I do not want to see the Siren.
It'll be interesting one way or another.
Yeah.
Interesting and not so interesting way, perhaps. I have no idea where I'm going with this.
We were told by the producer, idle, fluffy content for a few minutes. So you don't need to make sense. You just need.
All right. Well, do you know what? Enough of that. Then let's go back to the stage because DJ Wheat is waiting for us to introduce us to our next 2 teams.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time. The 3rd quarterfinal of the day. Thanks for joining us here at ESL One New York at Madison Square Garden Theatre. Are you guys excited for this matchup? The buzz both here and on the internet says absolutely, and it's time to introduce our teams. We already know the first semifinalist for tomorrow, and now we'll determine another team that will move on to day number 2. Let's introduce our teams. This team has seen several roster changes since 2011 and has finally begun to stabilize earlier this year. Since then, they've become a shining beacon of hope for the US scene. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Evil Geniuses! Good luck, guys. Their opponents. Formed in April of 2013, this team went on to win TI3 and several other high-profile events. Now in a rebuilding phase, they're looking to recapture that glory. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to Alliance! And now, to take us through this match, give us their predictions and their thoughts on what may or may not happen, let's send it back to the T-Mobile expert desk. Guys?
Thank you very much, Mr. Wheat. Yes, it's the big one of the day, the one that perhaps is the most anticipated of all of them, Alliance versus EG. We'll start with you, Synderen. In terms of where it is right now, in terms of the matchup, the meta, the patches and what have you, the fact that that Alliance come into this with a replacement for a replacement, are they in a good place or a bad place, do you think?
I think Alliance recently have started to be playing really well. I think they needed a little bit of time to play in Chessy and Misery in the beginning, but I think they've started to become more stable. As far as Chessy goes, he is the replaced player, of course, this time around he's out because of an injury, I believe it was.
I think so.
And I think with that perspective, I think Alliance got a really good stand-in. I think Hani's going to fit their playstyle and the way the team is going to go into this match. I think he has the right mindset, and he has a wide array of heroes in the mid lane that I think can really benefit Alliance. He's good at playing both the slow and the fast games, and Alliance is a team that likes playing it slow and safe until they feel confident, and then they play aggressively. And Hani can play those farm-intensive mid heroes, for example, or an aggressive puck if that's what they need. So.
Okay, let's take you through the lineups in full. Firstly, with Alliance, they look like this. I think you all probably know this lineup by now, at least certainly a couple of them, well, three at least, as we've just been talking about the other two, Honey and Misery. Aki, you mentioned about Aki being one of your favourite players. Why?
Definitely. That's just based off his personality, but also like how good he is at the game. And he's one of the most nice and humble guys in the game. And as I say that, he actually tweeted out last night an apology to EG for them only having one match in this tournament. So very confident. I like
that's very unlikely from Ake.
Yeah,
usually he's like, I mean, they were going into TI3 and everybody expected them to crush everyone. And even after a 10-0 performance there, he was like, yeah, we still have to learn. It's going to be a tough game. You're like, come on, you're 10-0 and your opponent is 0-10. You feel confident, right? He's like, no, not really. It's not going to be that easy. Blah, blah.
Just trying to be nice.
Hearing that.
We also have another man to focus on. It's the Dane in what was originally, of course, an all-Swedish lineup. I thought you two would like that. Misery, first ever permanent non-Swede on Alliance's official roster. And, of course, he's not the last one now. He's
very close to Sweden, though. He lives in Copenhagen, so it's right next door.
Across the water. Yeah. No problem at all. Yeah, know it well.
Misery is, like most of Alliance, very experienced. So he's
been around the block, hasn't he? Mouse, Team Dog.
Yeah, so he's been around.
Spent some time in China as well.
Yeah. Fnatic
on a lot of
back
teams.
in Dota 1, I think.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, that's a very long time.
Poured that one out of the
2009.
Together with Dota, actually.
Exactly, it's a really good point. He was playing with Dota.
Yeah. So plenty of experience on his side.
Look at this old guy. Just remembering everything.
Like 1763, I pull out that one, no problem at all. But no, I mean, it's a nice point, the fact that he's got experience with these guys. He knows them well. He's got plenty of experience in Dota as well. He's a relatively straightforward fit for the team, isn't he?
I would say so. So he's been playing on a lot of different teams. He's been attending all the internationals with different teams and so forth. And this is the first time that he's been with Ake, I believe, and in general, first time he's been with a very, very solid performing team, whereas both CLG and Mouse were sort of new lineups that didn't really have that same stature about them that we can all agree to Alliance having. So I think it's great for him to come in under a more established team now and have Loda and Ake lead him.
Talking of established teams, Evil Geniuses, who of course at the International were one of the favourites and didn't quite live up to the expectations of many, although still bagged an absolute sack full of cash and still finished inside the top 8. The one change here, of course, is not a change at all in many ways. Fear returning to the team. It's fantastic to have him back in action. We missed him at Frankfurt, of course. Mason, I think, was in the team back then. Yeah, Mason was back in the team. Having Fear back, what's that going to do to the lineup? You know him well.
I think it's a boost. Fear is well, if it wasn't because Universe has just been playing out of his mind the past year now, and is just a pillar of not only consistency but now also at the very highest level of play, always pulling out big plays, something we didn't really see him do in the first few TIs, but now he's just really come onto the stage as a top player. I would say that Fear was the best North American player easily, and he's by far the most experienced player of anyone in this game.
I will just say I think Zai is such a great get for them. Like he's phenomenal. I really like Zai a lot. So for EG to get him, I think is really smart. Good player.
So smart.
They have one of the best lineups, to be honest. All of them. Like PPD is also a really good drafter. I'm looking forward to see how he adapted to that patch, because I don't think EG had to face really the strongest teams in the world lately. I mean, obviously they faced Cloud9 and many good teams, but not they didn't face up as much as other teams. So I'm looking forward to see the drafting and the approach they have to Alliance's draft.
Come on, who wrote these? Malini, really? Please. Many feared his retirement. How many more puns can Malini get into these?
Oh, that's clever.
See, you didn't even spot
so
that.
clever.
So
Wow,
punny,
that
right?
was-
Wow, we're blown away on the desk right now.
This is unbelievable.
Oh my goodness, Malini. In all seriousness, though, you said it. Most experienced player, probably the best in North America. Been there, done it, seen it. Obviously, a feature of one of the greatest documentaries ever made about gaming, which is the free-to-play documentary as well, which he featured in heavily. And his story is very rich, isn't it? And it's quite common, actually. A lot of players have started from nothing and have got trouble at home and things to get through and no money, and how do they support themselves, get to these events and try and win money and get on bigger teams. It's a great story, and I love the fact that we've got him back.
I mean, I played on teams with Clinton several times now, and I remember back in, 2007, I think, where we had to negotiate a salary, and really what we were negotiating for a month about was 50 euros back and forth. It was like, are we going to be paid 150 euros or 200 euros? And it was just like, it was really important that he got that extra 50 euros just to make ends meet. So he's come a long way.
Yeah.
He has Dota, which is great. I think it's time we moved on to predictions and put your money down.
This one's going to be different.
I was going to say this. I'm expecting this one to have a little bit of a difference.
This is a real test.
Pyrion Sherlock Flax.
Yes.
I put it to you, my good lord,
Indeed.
that you are currently at 0%.
Well, yeah, I'm going EG this game. I really like their lineup. I think this is an alliance that obviously they've lost S4, and I think he was a big player for them. So I really like EG's lineup in this game, and I'm going to back them.
Okay, Evil Genius for Pyrion Flax.
So no, statistically, I'm about to make a really bad decision right now, but I'm actually with Pyrion.
Oh,
So we're either going down together or I'm pulling him back up to a
That sounds like a good evening, but let's keep it professional.
Yeah, I'll be the odd man out and go for Alliance.
Right, I didn't expect that from you.
No, I mean it's probably the closest matchup. But I feel like Hani can really fit this lineup well, and I also feel he's playing the best that he's ever done, especially in Dota 2. Yeah. But I haven't seen him play this well since his very early days in Dota 1. And with the star-studded lineup of the rest of Alliance, I feel they can really bring some good games.
Okay, Seb, you've been very quiet.
I have nothing to add to what Mark says.
Okay, fine.
Honestly,
Let's move on.
I completely agree with everything he said, so that's good for me. Alliance.
So Alliance as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we've got
2 or 2-1.
So it's 2-2 then. So
Let's have you decided, Paul.
So hold on a minute. I've got a coin somewhere.
No.
I mean, that's for me. That's what it is. I think I said EG right at the very beginning. I thought EG could win the whole thing. So I guess I have to. Unlike Pyrion, who has got this crazy, screwed up kind of way of
I
thinking.
just have to
he
be
bets against
contrary,
his tit.
but yeah.
No, I'm going to go with EG. I think.
Okay.
More solid.
I don't think
lineup.
EG is. I think that's a more safe choice. To
Yeah, it is a safe choice.
Okay.
How boring.
Yeah. I know.
Let's just find out before we go any further what the crowd and the viewers think. 70% right now.
Wow.
No, I think that was to be expected.
Also, some of that'll be
Okay.
biased, like home team bias and stuff.
Right.
I mean,
No, surely not.
I do.
Bias?
So, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this analyst desk. There'll be no bias on this desk whatsoever.
I don't feel that.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not biased.
If it wasn't for Hani, to be honest, I mean, Alliance, they did great lately, but in my opinion, Hani is now one of the best European players, like hands down. I really think he can take Alliance to a higher level of game, and that's going to be enough to beat EG.
We haven't spoken about, which is quite interesting that we haven't come across it yet. This is all post TI4 shuffle, right? This is the first part. If history tells us anything, there's going to be some more at some point.
Yep.
Maybe
Around
not quite as crazy.
January.
Yeah, around January. Not as crazy as it has been, but it's going to be some. So this tournament actually has a potentially large bearing on what happens at TI5 next year, in terms of lineups.
I would agree.
Players.
You have those teams that form after TI, right? And then they all fight, for many tournaments and try to get, good momentum. And then you have the one that wins and the one that loses. So obviously, if a team starts losing a lot, and their only, reason to play together was to actually build a stronger team than what they had before, then they're gonna disband again and try to get something going for TI5.
But it's fair to say, gents, isn't it, that they're all thinking about TI5 next year already?
Of course.
Yeah, I think so. But I think one team that has more to lose, more on the line here is EG. Obviously, you're coming in with a steady roster, one they plan on playing with for the rest of the year. Next year is so they definitely don't want to disappoint here. Whereas Alliance, they know they're going in with a new lineup. They know they're playing with the standard that's actually committed to a different team and everything. So they're probably a bit more lighthearted about this match, which might speak in favour of EG.
Yeah, the other thing in favour, of course, could be that nobody's really seen them. In the new patch. I mean, they didn't play at the weekend, plenty of other games playing. They could sit there and watch all the Alliance games and the VG games and learn whatever they need to learn about the meta right now and just adapt to put it in what they've got. They could be working on some crazy stuff right now.
Yeah, I mean, initially when the patch came out, they actually insisted on just sticking with what they've been picking all along. So they still went for stuff like Death Prophet, Racer, Tidehunter, and we've seen in this tournament already. These heroes are
same
still
sort of thing.
As good as ever.
Yeah.
So.
One of the things that they have picked is Spectre. I know I keep going on about it, but we might be able to see that this game.
It's great.
They use Spectre really well. Like they get really good lineups with Spectre.
Teams,
They brought back heroes like Lion, Visage that skated really well. I really like the way they approach the draft. It's really Dota 1 oriented draft, in my opinion. Coming out from Loda, I think, and he knows his Spectre. He won one of the best Spectre players, but that was really, really far. A really long time ago.
Yeah,
he knows Spectre.
1826.
Oh yeah,
because he's about the same age as I am.
Maybe even before.
He won't thank me for that on the VOD when he sees that later. So draft time almost upon us. Just how important are these, Synderen? Drafts
the drafts
for these two teams specifically.
I would say. Well, the drafts are always important,
of course.
Right? But I think it's important for Alliance to get off to a good start in the draft because I think. For me, EG is the more creative team in terms of drafting. Yeah. That's my opinion on it. Milk really doesn't agree, so that's good. We can have a talk about that.
I think we should catch this expression on video.
That was like a magnetic repulsion.
I feel like Alliance is one of those teams that you could almost always tell what they were doing. They had like one oddball pick every 10 games or something where they would go for a Necrophos, and aside from that, you could always tell what they were going for. So
that's what he just said.
I've seen Alliance bring back...
Did you say Alliance were the more creative?
He said EG is the most creative. Meaning that Alliance, you can predict what they're going to get. They've got a certain pool of heroes.
I strongly disagree.
Yeah.
You think Alliance are more creative than EG?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beastmaster offlane, man. Who has been picking Beastmaster offlane lately? It's Alliance. Lion support, anti-mage carry. Those are heroes that were forgotten.
Just need to light the touch paper and set it alight.
Speaking of which, I think we might see the Necrophos. I prayed for it
possible.
earlier, but I think this hero has a lot of...
I love the hero, man.
Seen EG pick it before this patch.
They pick it at TI4.
So there's a lot more reason to pick it now.
He's a good hero.
Yeah.
I like Necrophos.
But this is what you mentioned before, Paul. This is the first time EG really is playing on the new patch, right?
Yeah. At a LAN event.
And I know for a fact that PPD, he's also said in interviews, he thinks a lot about the game, which every captain and every drafter does. But I feel like, for example, at TI4, I felt like EG was one of the teams that pulled more different stuff out of the bag, like the Necrophos, like the Abaddon pick that they played.
Were we at the same tournament?
Yeah, we were. You maybe didn't watch
in the group stage. Yeah, they did play.
I think towards the end, EG was very predictable in the very last.
Everybody was.
In the
That's
very
the
last
thing,
games, but
as TI went on.
During the group stage, they showed some flexibility, and I think they are. To me, they're still a more creative team than Alliance. Although I would agree definitely with you that Alliance have been getting better at drafting new stuff and thinking outside the box. But I am just looking forward to seeing EG pull out a hero that nobody even thought about. That's kind of my expectations. That they do something different.
I've said that right at the top of the program today. What are we going to see that's brand new that none of us have thought about? None of you guys have thought about. Just something that's kind of really exciting and makes us just go, ooh, that's going to change everything. And EG are kind of that team, aren't they?
I would. They're the team I would go to for new picks, together with Secret. Those were my two teams going into the tournament that I was thinking, okay, these are going to bring something new to the table. Secret's done it already, so they've already proven themselves.
I think EG's biggest strength is their execution. When they perform better than anyone. I mean, when Psy brings his game, Universe brings his A game, it's a dream come true watching. It's beautiful. And of course, PPD has impressed me a lot and being one of the best strategizers in the game. So I wouldn't disagree with Trolls and the fact that they are a really good team. But in terms of creativity and thinking outside the box, I don't feel like they've been coming with a lot of different lineups. But they have done the occasional oddball pick, whereas the alliance that we saw at TI4 went with strategies that they played back in 2013, which were severely disappointing to a lot of the fans.
We've said on one hand it could be an advantage for Evil Geniuses in that they haven't really shown anything in their hand yet for 6.82B, but Alliance have, but that could also be an advantage for them because they've already played at a LAN, and actually they played pretty damn well until things fell apart for them, obviously, for no real fault of their own. But the first two matches, the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, the upper brackets, they were terrific.
Yeah, I think they're great. I think they have a lot of potential, and I don't mean to bash on Chessy by any means. He played a great tournament as well. I just feel like Hani has that extra potential to take them even further.
Yeah,
even with Chessy, they could have played a great tournament this weekend.
Yeah.
But with Hani, I really see potential.
Okay.
But the question is how much they practiced, like how well will they click, right?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't just pull in a player and just
they've had
play.
no time whatsoever, because I know that, you know,
Yeah.
they finished, I think, Sunday in China. They would have flown Monday, would have got here
Yeah.
Tuesday, so I don't know how much practice they've been able to get in.
Maybe
for the
one
last
day.
Exactly. I mean, it's 24 hours at the most.
But these are players that know Hani really well. I
Yeah.
mean, Loda and Ake played with Hani, 7 years ago? So
And nothing's changed.
nothing changed. Hani is still that annoying little kid from back then.
They've just carried on the conversation they were having 7 years ago. It's just carried on. Okay, good. So, I mean, we've heard predictions. We've talked about the patch. We've talked about what they might or might not pick. What other issues do you think are between these two teams? Is there any need, or is there anything people want to try to, you know, one up one of the players? Is there anything else involved in here that we think might have an impact in the result of the game?
When you're Alliance, every pro player know that EG in the latest part of the game, like the latest state of the game, are one of the most carry team. They do very little, they don't give you space. They do close to no mistakes. They are one of the best teams at taking decisions in the mid to late game. And Alliance, in every game they play, they try to drag the game till the late game, right? They pick the Naga, they split push, etc. So do they want to play this type of game versus EG, or is it a trap? That's my main question. And how do they want to trap?
A rat trap?
I think it's a trap.
Could be a rat trap.
The thing is, I've seen them play that long game style in games that I thought, well, they've got to win this one. And they sort of reverted to that safe. Like, this is in the TI4 group stages where I thought, well, they're going to have to do something here. And they still tried to play that late game. Like, I don't think they, at the time, I don't think they could change. So I think maybe mixing the roster up, maybe they can play some different styles.
Definitely.
I think Misery is really good at playing aggressive roaming supports. So that's something to make use of. He's exceptionally good on Earthshaker and Bane. And I'm expecting one, if not both of those heroes to be picked for him specifically this series. And if they can get off to, I think the best way for Alliance to play this is to play like a hybrid, which is also what they've started doing, where they put load on like a really hard carry, like Spectre, Anti-Mage, or, which isn't that hard in the extreme late game, but a hard carry at the right time, right? They put Spectre, Anti-Mage, or Naga exactly, on Loda, and then the other heroes try to play aggressive around him. So a 4 protect 1 classic style, basically, with maybe a little more aggression than people used to play, and Misery is just perfect for that kind of strategy.
I feel this patch complements Misery a lot. He can afford to be very aggressive. He can go on the roaming spree and just still benefit from the room control and everything. I think this is plays right into his.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really assess where EG are right now in terms of the new patch, but there's no doubt that we mentioned it very beginning of the show, I think it was many hours ago now, the good players, the great players, are the ones that adapt to new patches fastest, and Alliance are a perfect example of that. They seem to have just hit the ground
But
running.
it also does suit them. I think the fact that you can now play that longer game. In the previous patch, it was really hard to get there. It was just like death ball Dota. So whereas now, this patch suits their style a bit more.
Statistically as well, I haven't brought many statistics up yet while we look at bans.
Because Bruno's not here.
Come back to those in a moment. Yes, indeed. I'm trying
Shout
to
out
fit
to
in for
Bruno.
him. Thank you, Bruno, for all the tweets. You're right that Mount does look like a weatherman.
I have someone
I'm glad he agreed with me. But in terms of statistic, every statistic that
Look
you
at
have
this.
under a team, by the way, Alliance is almost 20% higher under the new patch compared to 681.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch. That right there.
I really like the bans coming out from EG here, and this speaks volumes to how much PBD actually thinks about the game.
Then I would like you probably to explain, because I don't get it. Like the Rubik ban.
It's, if you know EG's playstyle, the Rubik ban makes a lot of sense just because EG really loves to play with Tidehunter, with the Void, with the Enigma. Big scale ultimates that are fairly easy to steal as well. So getting the Rubik out, probably the hero that Misery enjoys playing the most, is a great way of starting up the pick and ban phase. Then the Enchanters, obviously, it's a hero that we've seen for some odd reason get a resurgence today. And another hero that fits not only Misery but Ake especially.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, of course.
Double profit time again.
Yep.
And none of them for Bulldog.
That was the last game of the last match, I believe we had that as well.
I'm curious to the Bat Rider pick.
I think it's a really good pick. To be honest,
It's a great hero, but it's not one that I would expect them to pick with with the current hero pool available.
If I had to pick the best hero in that meta game, I think it's Batuada in my opinion. I think it's first pick, first ban, no matter the game, no matter the team.
He's been like that for such a long time.
Yeah,
as
this
well.
isn't exclusive to this
That
latest
was
patch,
always
is it? I
really
mean,
Yeah,
Because of, like you guys were saying earlier, the moment it becomes 4v5 instead of 5v5, the opponent can't take a fight. So, I mean, if you've got someone like Death Prophet, if Batrider can get in there, drag her out, you ruin her day, and then what are they going to do? They can't fight.
Exactly, and I'm surprised they actually picked Nature's Prophet and Death's Prophet versus Batuada. Batuada is actually a counter to both Nature's Prophet and Death's Prophet. So
which basically says we don't care what you pick.
exactly, we're gonna go for our own game. We know what we like. We have a plan. We practiced, whatever. You can get whatever you want. But letting Alliance play their game, I mean, they did not ban the Naga, they did not ban the Spectre, which were first ban versus Alliance at WCA, and still Alliance doesn't grab those heroes. So it's actually interesting. Both teams look to be very confident going into that match.
I'm really excited to see Alliance get the Crystal Maiden. I think Aki is the best Crystal Maiden player in the world.
Oh yeah, he's
And
If he's even
he
playing
is-
it, I don't think like
he is so
Misery
good.
did
It's
the
possible that
Midas
Misery will
Crystal
take
Maiden. I think everyone remembers that one.
Yeah.
And like both players are exceptionally good at the Crystal Maiden, and I like what it opens up for, except for the Siren, because it really does open up for a Siren.
It really does. That's true. Yeah, it's a good point. And also Siren with Batrider is extremely good because whenever Batrider gets a pick off, then you can just sleep before others and they can't run away. You just get the kills. And on the other way around, if the initiation from Batrider doesn't work for some reason, then you can just sleep and disengage.
Yeah.
So it's a great combination to
It's
have.
like a reset switch.
I think a Sanking pickup here for Alliance wouldn't be bad either.
That's also one of Misery's good heroes.
Yeah.
If they do that, they definitely put the Crystal Maiden on Aki.
Yeah, well, it's
And I'm
not
just
going
going
to be
to
on
say it
Loda.
one more time. I want that Nake's Bomb back in the game.
Yeah.
Lifestealer, I enjoy him, and I think he's actually...
He's really good against Death
he's-
Prophet.
Yeah, he's good against the heroes so far from EG.
I love him.
So like
He's
the silence
one
is
of my
also a
favorites.
big problem versus Lifestealer, to be honest. Like the 7-second silence, it's a nightmare.
But that's why
when
you've
you're
got to
playing
do the bomb. You know, you got to get
That's
in
true.
there.
That's true. I would agree.
But I think
Also very
these
underwhelming
bans from
bomb.
Alliance sort of gives a hint of the fact that if this actually works against EG, it's because EG is so stuck in their ways from TI before the patch, where they still play the same traditional playstyle with the Razor and the Void, of course, and then Weaver, a hero we know that Fear is notoriously good at.
I really feel like Alliance has a plan. I feel really very confident for them. Really looks like they know what they're doing. They banned the Alchemist, the PPD Alchemist, which is a really good decision. I think Universe has been playing the Alchemist on offlane as well sometimes.
Ooh, Omni-Night ban.
Omni-Night ban. That's very interesting. They probably scrimmed versus each other's.
Yeah.
I mean, because the Omni-Night doesn't really...
There
Yeah,
you
that's
go.
a hero we haven't
go.
seen enough
Yeah,
here.
there's,
They are
there's
unveiling the
that's the one we were
intentions.
talking about.
That's a classic EG lineup
This
so
is
far.
this is pushing.
Nothing special. Yeah.
This is all out pushing. You
Classic
have
EG.
3 of the best push heroes right now. I mean, Liquid Fire is so good.
So good. You add a Skeleton King, or like classic EG lineup: Razor, Death Prophet, Skeleton King, THD, stuff like this. They might go for the double offlane, which they usually do.
Yeah, Jakiro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they played Jakiro Undying, Jakiro Tusker, like really innovative lanes.
And so far, it scales
Did you hear
fairly
that,
well into
Jacob,
late game.
innovative. EG,
No,
innovative lanes.
Of course, I mean, they have creative drafts, but they stick to them.
So BM.
So in that regard, they're not that innovative, you know.
Jakiro is, in my opinion, I mean, everybody talks about Liquid Fire, and I love Liquid Fire, but Ice Path is so big in team
Oh, yeah.
fights, and there's so many times when you think, okay, we've got this now, killer Ice Path, it's absolutely huge. I think he's fantastic. He's one of my favorite heroes. I play him all the time.
It's a great hero. To
I'll
have,
actually,
for sure.
I'll actually turn around and say I'll agree with Trolls in the way that.
Oh,
Nice.
That's so good. And that's classic Alliance lineup, right?
Here comes the
Ogre
Lone Druid.
Magi, the Ogre Magi, the Lone Druid, the S4 Batrider mid with Stalker V S4.
Abaddon.
Calling it right now. Necrophos
The
coming.
Abaddon. Very good hero to have versus the Lasso, obviously. Just denies the
Yeah.
Batrider ultimate instantly.
but you need to be really close to the target.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like a
that's
350 cast range.
That's true.
Do you get a blink on him in that case? Or is that
It's
crazy?
actually an interesting idea.
Force Staff might be better. I feel like
Not bad at all.
Force Staff might be the
It's
better
very-
option, but
I don't think I've ever seen that, but that's a really good idea in this game, I think.
Force
Blink
Staff is
on the-
enough to be close to Batrider because Bat's gonna blink, melee range, Lasso, and Force Staff out, so it's gonna be a Force Staff
You need
distance
to be
anyway.
really quick though with the cast point you have. when
That's
you're-
true.
The thing is, if you're not close enough to when you force stuff, you'll still be like you'd have to get to.
Then,
you know what I
then
mean?
you have to be in range.
If you
Yeah.
blink behind him, so he force staffs through you, you're gonna hit it no matter what.
Okay, all right, then it's completely next level. Well, I would flame my Abaddon for getting a blink first. I don't know how Loda is gonna PPD is gonna feel about that. He's gonna be playing it,
I'll
so
go
it's
back to and lick my wounds a little bit and say I actually agree with the fact that how Trolls meant, Syndrome meant they were innovators. they come up with lineups and then they stick to those lineups. But yeah, sure enough, they come up with lineups of their own. I can definitely agree to that. But
How is Brewmaster, by the way, 8th pick in this?
Yeah,
he's been number one.
Yeah, he's been number one pick in every game where he hasn't been banned.
Like, don't you think it's strange that they picked Brewmaster after like Ogre McGee and Crystal Maiden? I mean, they could have picked Batrider Brew, and right then you would have been like, well.
I don't think they necessarily wanted the Brewmaster. I think he's just really good against Abaddon.
100% agree.
It could be a Naga. Could be a Naga last pick. You know, this is the classic Alliance draft where, sure, okay, they can do anything, and who's missing? Loda. Well,
I feel like EG is baiting them into this Siren.
Yeah.
There's the Terrorblade ban.
The thing is that the Siren is actually really good here. I really like it.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Why is Brew so good against Abaddon? Does he just spin him when he's
exactly.
burning?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Then
From
you're
away.
useless as Abaddon. Like completely
You
useless.
cycle him twice in a row in a
Yeah,
fight, and you
yeah.
just go for the others. Because the only thing Abaddon really does is that what makes that hero so good is a Photic Shield. That's what you pick it for,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So if he's just tornadoed every single fight, and which is very easy against EG's lineup, if you get the split off, then Abaddon is a pretty slow hero. He doesn't ever get mobility items.
he has
should
to be in the
fairly-
fight to
and
be
he has to be
effective anyway.
close, right?
Yeah.
He's a very accessible hero to reach with the Cyclone because he is in the middle, and he doesn't mind taking damage because of his ultimate. But you know, if you just ignore him entirely, it's not a problem.
There's not a lot of burst on Evil Genius's lineup right now, which makes me question the Necrophos pick. Maybe
I think they're getting Dragon Knight.
I don't think Necrophos is a good pick. I think it's a really
they're
bad
gonna
one.
chicken out of it.
The other
If they
thing
ever
is, like,
intended
you
to.
guys were talking about having a frontliner, like in one of the earlier games, you're saying you've got to have someone like they had Bristleback, I think
Yeah.
it was, who could just
It was
stay on the
Bristle.
front there and stuff like that. And so far for Alliance, they've got Brewmaster and Ogre both perfectly comfortable up there.
I like the DK pick that you called. I think it's a really, really good pick for them right now.
That would be good.
Yeah.
They need that because they need something that can also stay on the front line there and tank everything. Oh, they've got
Whoa,
some Visage.
what
be
the
a
hell?
THG core
Oh,
or
it's called
THG.
Jakiro.
And probably an aggressive tri-lane.
That's like a lot of push right there.
What you can
Yeah.
abuse versus Batrider, he's a really weak laner. So if you go aggressive and with, THG, Visage, Abaddon, that's going to be quite easy. Then the Prophet's going to most likely crush the Batrider just because of the base damage.
Yeah, and in the laning states, Abaddon sort of negates Crystal Maiden and Ogre Magi.
Look at the reaction to the Alliance players in your shot.
Oh, yeah. They're not happy with
they
that.
were actually frowning. I could see the frown.
Yeah, they were really
They were like,
unhappy with that
"Really?"
last big Visage.
Yeah. Yeah, look at the frowns.
Because it doesn't give them much room to... Oh, wow.
I don't like this. I think it's really risky pick from Loda.
It's risky, but it's going to pay off big time against the Nature's Prophet, though.
All right, well, let's find out because our commentary team are ready for the big one of the day. Our third quarterfinal here at ESL One New York. It's Alliance versus Evil Geniuses.
Thank you very much, Paul. We are here to cast Alliance vs EG. I'm W1, joined by Merlini, and man, it's great to be back in the casting chair with you, and what a hell of a game we've got.
I know. Anti-Mage is super risky. How do you feel about it?
I'm really not so sure about this. Like, you heard the boys calling it before. The off-lane's can be really weak for the Batrider. You can even just let a Prophet go up against him and run an aggro tri-lane and shut him down. Sure, you're going to blink away, but survival is not enough when you're going up against a lineup like what EG has. They're going to be taking a lot of early tier 1 towers. They've got the perfect line to do it. I'm not sure it's going to pay off for them.
I don't think so. They're severely lacking in anti-push, especially before Batrider and Brewmaster get blinks. And they have very strong lanes too, so I think that they can shut them down enough to the point where Alliance may not be able to recover.
Yeah, and you're 100% right, man. I'm just going to give Alliance the benefit of the doubt for the moment, but already they're going to be having themselves a lot of trouble. If this Crystal Maiden is hoping to do any kind of farming on at least the side camp, you've already got a tree being removed after the TP in, so they're blocking up already one of the camps of Alliance. I just don't know where Alliance is meant to find their space from. Even their timing for this, the animate's going to take some time to come online. The Batrider Blink Day is probably be one of the core moments, and the level 6 Brewmaster, but who are you really going to pick off? And can that easily just be traded back by EG? Because you're going to take down tier 1 towers pretty early on. You're going to restrict the movement where an anti-mage can go. I'm just wondering if even the early pickoffs of Alliance is going to be enough to counter the amount of gold and income that EG will claim from map control, the
Well,
towers.
Death Prophet's a pretty weak laner, as is Nature's Prophet, so if they can exploit PPD's lack of mobility onto Abaddon, I think they can do it. And one thing's for certain, Alliance is very well versed in running this sort of strategy with the 4 Protect 1. It's what they had the most success with at WCA. So if a team can execute and pull off this sort of lineup, it certainly is Alliance.
Just to go with this thing, you're running an off-lane Jakiro in this matchup. I'm not seeing the aggro tri-lane that I thought I was really going to see from here. They've got Fury to do the body blocking in the lane, but they've got Zai over on this Nature's Prophet, And that leaves the last one, like PPD as the Abaddon. So where are you really trying to pump the farm in? Where are you? What's the timing you're trying to find on these safe lane heroes for EG?
Well, the question is, can they actually win the lane? It's actually Fear playing the Visage too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like with Fear on Visage, I know he's played support here and there, but this actually looks like a core Visage. But this isn't the days of like remnants over on a Visage. This isn't the days where you can build like into a hood, into a pipe and a mech on this guy, and he tank the entire world. So what are they trying to achieve with this? And why is Alliance actually switching their lanes up and throwing Loda on the off lane as the anti-mage?
Well, they don't want to pair him
up against Universe.
They don't want to pair him up versus Universe. Universe on the Jakiro will just poop on most melee heroes. The liquid fire spam is just too much to handle. And as a melee hero, you definitely cannot trade the harass. Even as a range hero, it's extremely difficult to do so. So I can understand that they can't afford to have anti-mage fall any more behind than he probably already is going to.
But they put themselves in this position, so they willingly came into this by picking up the anti-mage as number 5.
Well, it does put some sort of pressure on EG to push their towers early, but they're not really scared of the pressure. They have Death Prophet on their team as well as Nature's Prophet, so they can just take out all the T1s, and we see some early movement from PPD early.
Yeah, he's looking to just loop around back. I think they've had enough of Misery just harassing from the side, and they want to see what he's up to. He only killed off one Centaur, and that was basically all. While the bottom lane is just range harassment, they're beating through all of Loda's consumables. They're trying to make him actually use that salve of his, and he will have to now. So it's just the double range harassment coming up here from Zai as well as Fear. But it's only been one Grave Chill for the attack. And I think Zai's just waiting for another opening. Now they go a secondary Grave Chill, this time into Arcade. It almost feels like they're just trying to win the consumable battle here. That's all it really is. Just range harassment into the heroes. Don't even worry about the CS.
Yeah, and one of the few downsides about Ogre is that he is melee, and it's extremely difficult to stave off the constant right clicks from these two heroes, and he just can't zone anybody out. But still, they both have stout shields, so they can take a decent amount of punishment.
Well, until Prophet picks up a double damage rune, and then punishment might be a little bit too much for them. I think that's why Fear's waiting. He's got Grave Chill as well as the Soul Assumption, and it looks like Loda is looping him behind. He just uses Blink to initiate, and now Zai gonna look for some extra damage. They're slowing him down, but the damage into Loda's gonna be a little bit too much. He has to back up here. He's only got one Tango charge left. There is the salve from Arcade. They're just trying to make the best out of a bad situation here, but they have managed to at least control the CS on this lane.
Fear has to be extremely careful. He has 75 mana, 2 magic charges, so if he gets mana burned once by Loda, he won't have Grave Chill, and he has boots, but Visage is still pretty darn slow getting hit with nerf after nerf, so with that level 1 Ignite, he can easily be chased down.
Actually seeing Misery making his move in towards that mid lane. They're searching for an opening on Arteezy, and he can't really get it here, Misery. Arteezy, in fact, wants to try and turn and fight him. The Frostblast will be there, and the problem is he's going to TP on this, and they got PPD also rotating in. They put the shield over on Zai, and First Blood spilt by EG as the Crystal Maiden just a little bit too deep there. And Hani couldn't do anything to help. He's already too low and no bottle charges.
Yeah, that was a very ill-conceived gank by Misery. Maybe without Nature's Prophet, it's okay, but Hani was way too low. I don't think he had his boots delivered yet, or if he did, he was in that 300 HP range where a couple of right clicks plus a Crypt Swarm will send him to certain death. So he wasn't even close to being able to follow it with a Frostbite.
It's like he tried to do the prep work beforehand, and then the Crystal Maiden came in thinking, well, I actually don't have that much to give. A level 1 Nova and level 1 Frostbite, that's not enough to kill off like Arteezy, even though Arteezy was only like a third of his life points.
The supports have to hook up together on Alliance. Like a solo Crystal Maiden can't do anything, especially after dying once already, and a solo Ogre can't do anything either. So they have to work together, try and get some kills around the map, but PPD already has a TP score on him too.
Loda's coming up. They're all searching for the rune. It'll be a haste rune into the bottle of him, but up on top lane, Zai and Admiral Bulldog with PPD battling it out. And they'll get themselves away to safety, and that top rune, it was the bounty actually taken by the Brewmaster.
And Bad Rider's not able to get that much on top either. He can't really push Universe out of lane. He can't actually keep his tower from being pushed down, and he's not able to stack at all either because his supports are highly preoccupied.
This tier 1 tower's days are numbered, man. Absolutely numbered. RK and Misery, this is what you were asking for at least. You've got your team up. You got your team up ready to go.
Zai's gonna run right into them.
And now the team up fails. Because they know that they know he's there. Surprisingly too, Zai actually keeps his treant levels up a little bit higher. I kind of feel like he's just waiting for that opening up on top lane to TP up. Now they do get the Ice Path as well as Liquid Fire Harassment into the Bat Rider. But yeah, Universe just wants this creep wave push so he can just keep Liquid Firing down the tower. It's already up at level 3. That's why I don't think this tower is going to survive much longer.
The
And
pressure
Bulldog's
is
gonna lose
mounting
place.
heavily for Alliance. Admiral Bulldog won't be able to get a fast blink with the dual heroes on top. He can't leave a gank because they'll lose his tower. Mid lane, Death Prof is getting a ton of farm relative to Brew, 27 CS as opposed to 16. And the bottom lane, Loda can't farm without the help of the supports because they have 2 range heroes constantly hitting him.
They've
So they
come
have
top
to do
now.
something soon.
They've got the treants down. Admiral Bulldog, he's trying to come out a long, long way here. Trying to get extra chip damage in with the Firefly, but he's already way too low. And they just profited the shield from PPD to allow them to dive underneath that tower. Not to mention the Liquid Fire really gunking up that attack of the tower. And with Batrider down, Universe keeps the pressure on. Liquid Fire comes off cooldown, and he'll just look towards that tower. And he won't survive.
Jakiro does a surprising amount of damage as a core, and as a support, okay, whatever, you don't have that high levels of liquid fire, but when you get level 6, prior to 6 minutes in, he does so much damage with liquid fire, doesn't take any mana either, so he can just constantly throw it out there. I think he underestimated a little bit. Hani sitting at the 6-minute rune.
And looks like he will be the Ogre Bajar to pick up the double damage rune. Brewmaster only gets the bounty rune. Find out I think he needs any bit of experience and gold he can get, because his team is falling behind right now. I'm still wondering when this anti-mage is meant to kick in. RK, on the other side of the tree line of both Arteezy and PPD, they'll loop around, and now, well, Exorcism committed by Arteezy. Zai's gonna come in too. That's a lot of damage. RK, he'll turn for the stun, but that means the ultimate just catches up to him. That's the death of the Ogre Magi. They keep forcing the issue, and they'll bring the Exorcism back in towards that middle lane. And Hani can't do much about this. He's got a split, so they won't be able to get a kill on him, while Misery looking for a kill on Fear. Frostbite up the Nova to slow him down. Loda will jump himself in, but the Grave Chill already off from Fear. So he has the movement away. Loda's got a creep wave behind him. Fear, he's got Soul Assumption damage with PPD coming in. They'll get the kill over on Misery, and now Loda blinks himself out the Sprout. And back down to the bottom lane. He can't go to that offlane anymore. He just can't.
Well, your question is, when is Anti-Mage supposed to kick in? He's not necessarily supposed to kick in. He's just supposed to be a mounting threat. And EG eventually is going to have to deal with it. But it's the roles that are actually reversed. Alliance is like, man, we need to do something with our supports. Misery 0-2 and 0, Aki 0-1 and 0. And they just haven't been able to make anything around the map. They don't have any kills. They are not making any headway on the Blink Dagger, on the Brewmaster and the Batrider. And their days are numbered if it continues like this.
Yep.
This is before any T1s have fallen too.
And now even PPD and Fear, they don't even need Jakira to be down here. Misery's going to have to Nova and drag the creep wave up. And that will actually stop a lot of the damage here. And that's also going to be some good levels in there for Misery. But it's either really like the one you want to have getting these levels. Even Admiral Bulldog, where's your flash farming? Now you talk about like the Blink Dagger on the Brewmaster, Blink Dagger on the Batrider. The Brewmaster's at least 1,000 gold closer to it. But the Batrider is still such a long way away.
They just need to stack and farm instead of play aggressive. But that's their strength, being able to play aggressive. And the most revolutionary thing about this draft is the support play by Zai. Anytime these two supports try and make a play anywhere, he just TPs in. And it's usually a 2-on-3 and then Abaddon TPs in and it's a 3-on-3. So this is the way for them to deal with aggression. It's just have a support and each prophet always be there. As a core, you're like, okay, I want to trade off some farm, but if you have a Visage soaking it up on bottom, you're not really having any opportunity.
Look at this Liquid Fire. How is this in Dota right now? It is pushing down the tier 1 tower. That's been 4 hits from a Liquid Fire. They don't even need an Exorcism from a Death Prophet in order to bring down these buildings. And the crazy thing from EG is, they also, they brought the tier 1 tower down low. Alliance rotated 3 heroes up there to try and slow them down. And then after that, it just stopped. Now, Familiars are coming in from the side too, and Misery's just on the run. Arteezy's going to find him, but they don't care about this. So with the Liquid Fire again, they're going to bring down a tier 1 tower, but the craziest thing is, okay, they fortify now, they can still force the tier 2 tower with this kind of lineup coming out from EG.
A really scary thing on EG's lineup is that THD is actually going for a fast Yules instead of a mech. And this is way worse for Alliance than a mech for a couple of reasons. Firstly, they have a couple of blinkers. If they Yules the Anti-Mage into an Ice Bat, he's going to die because he'll get silenced by DP immediately afterwards. If Batrider tries to blink in a lasso, immediately gets Yules, he will die. If Panda doesn't split, Yules into silence or Yules on Ice Bat, and he immediately dies too. The way to counter this is with BKB, but they can't even start thinking about BKBs at this point.
Oda, he's going to try and battle up against Zai. He's the first one to TP himself out of here, and Zai's not as certain about this. While on bottom lane, there was a stun coming out from RK over onto Universe, and Loda's going back in again.
Zai's in no man's land.
He's trying to juke it out in the tree line. Loda considers blinking around. Zai trying to juke him out, and he'll get some heal. And Loda's back over towards that top rune area. Arteezy is in the neighborhood, but with Hani also there, he doesn't want to come anywhere closer. But that's still 4 for 0. We're 10 minutes in, and EG have taken 2 tier 1s and a tier 2 tower.
Well, with the Yules and the mech eventually coming on the Abaddon Alliance, their timeline is still very, very short. Anti-Mage, look at his farm, maybe close to a Perseverance. There is a Blink Dagger on
The
Brew,
Yules is done now. That's 10 minutes 30 for Yules.
That's so much damage. Abaddon, the panel was talking about how it's countered by Brewmaster, but at the same time, you're forced to at least use a few spells on it. You're forced to cycle them before you stun, which gives your stun target a couple more seconds to get into a better position. And on top of that, they have like very tanky heroes. Jakiro, one of the most tanky ranged int supports. Nature's Prophet probably won't be in the fight if there's a Brewmaster there, and Death Prophet too. He has drums. I mean, they're just not going to die anytime soon. And the Panda threat, you want it to be a huge threat, like 8 to 20 minutes, but I don't know how many ultimates are going to get off in that time frame.
Alliance are going to try and force an issue on bottom lane, but the best they're going to get out of this is a Visage Fear. Maybe a little bit more, because PPD and Arteezy just walked past the Observer Ward, so jump off by Hani, and he'll instantly go into the split. Over on PPD, he couldn't get the shield off in time. Now he will, however. Just going to waste their time, but there's your Yule Scepter into the Ice Path with Macropire. Misery pops very, very quickly, and the Familiars are still down there. Zai, do they have another stun? RK, enough damage? Almost enough to kill him off before he TP's out. Hani goes back into his normal Brewmaster form.
And on top of that,
at the bottom.
Abaddon denied himself. So it's not even 6-1. It's still 6-0.
Yeah, you're right. They got no experience from that whatsoever.
Only 5,000 gold lead for EG with a 4-tower lead rather. That's actually not terribly significant. So they're still doing decently. Batrider really needs to get his Blink Dagger though. They have a double stack almost. And
Admiral Bulldog. Careful where you TP in right there. Arteezy's almost finished up his own Yule Scepter as well. And with this tier 2 tower, there is fortification available for Alliance, but it's already down to half-life, and PPD finds the Batrider actually doing a pull stack, a stack farm.
Yeah, these double Yules is just going to be an absolute headache for Alliance. They have
Abaddon
on their side to be
in through the rear. Yule Scepter up. Again, they're going to take the Crystal Maiden out of play. The Crypt Swarm connects over on 2 RK as well. But the tier 2 tower is gone, the Crystal Maiden's down. We're now 12 minutes in with only 1 remaining out of tower. I thought the tier 1 tower fortification buff up was meant to stop this kind of stuff.
Well, they just have an insanely good lineup at continuing this sort of thing. And again, the Yules is just so much better than the mech because they need to be able to play aggressively. They don't need to take 5-on-5s because Alliance is not going to want to 5-on-5 for a very, very long time. Or at least fights that they can avoid. But next for EG, just try and secure Roshan at some point. They can do it easily with Nature's Prophet and Death Prophet.
Poor Loda. He's trying to actually find farm for his Battle Fury, and every time he comes over here, 1, he's being watched by an aggressive Observer Ward, and 2, he's got no camps because Prophet just came through here and cleaned it all up. So he can't do that. He wants to join the rest of his teammates and maybe push out the bottom lane and control the Radiant jungle. That's why they might have this aggressive Observer Ward out from the Dire side. But they can't do that either because Fear's Familiars just keep this bottom lane pressured while Fear farms up the jungle himself. Slowly and ever surely getting closer towards that Aghanim Scepter, which now we're 30 minutes in, and he's only 1,800 gold away from completing. He might actually have the Agnes before he gets level 2 ultimate.
They just have so much burst on EG too. Visage does a ton, and they have a lot of minus armor, which synergizes as well with the Death Prophet, Exorcism too, and then on top of that, they have all this magic burst from Jakiro as well as the Soul Assumption from Visage too. So no one is really, really safe. And Anti-Mage, even though he's an agility hero with poor man shield, he still has very, very low armor.
They're jumping on Fear. He's rather tanky for the moment, and now Loda comes in. Their Fear will actually resummon on the Familiars, which means a drop down. Loda, he's tried the Mana Void twice now. Couldn't get it off. Wasted a lot of time. Universe has come to the bottom lane. He might decide just to macro pie up the creep wave, but he's waiting for Hani to come back into his normal self. Couldn't get the Ice Path off in time. Universe, though, we got 1 TP out by Misery. The rest of Alliance are heading into the trees where they believe it's safe. Loda's waiting. Bulldog, now he starts TPing out. Loda TPs, the Yule Scepter cancels 1. Ice Path will get the follow-up into Admiral Bulldog, and he will die in the tree line there. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade-off. Fear for the Batrider. But Anti-Mage able to pick up a little bit more farm here. Zai, oh Zai. This is ballsy. He doesn't have Wrath of Nature. He's going to find Loda, but he blinks himself back into the tree line. He can't TP out. He's short of mana. Only by 2, though. Now he can't get out. Meanwhile, on bottom lane, it's being pushed out by Arteezy's Exorcism, and they might even try and go high ground here up against Arke. And they will.
They'll get a
Liquid
very
fire
significant
in.
amount of damage on it.
Loader is able to find a little... He's got enough money from that to actually pick up his second damage dealing item. But yeah, there is now to be pick off by the Prophet.
So Bulldog finally has his Blink Dagger. This will maybe catch them by surprise and get one kill.
He's got Arteezy, no exorcism, but then the Yule Scepter. There's no drag back. Now into the Ice Path with the Macro Pyre. Dual Breath as well. Admiral Bulldog, it doesn't catch up anything. Mana Void, however, breaks the Death Prophet down, and Universe getting drunken balled up by Honey. PvD just wants to TP out. The shield is up, but he gets frostbitten, and he will not survive this one. He's already down in Loader. There's the money to get him his Battle Fury, and finally Alliance gets something going their way.
Yeah, the Blink Dagger on Batrider couldn't have come at a better time, and they were actually pushing 3v5. Zai wasn't actually there. The Ghost just came down too, so EG just stayed a tiny bit too long. They did eye the free damage on the T3, and it is at 300 out of 1600 HP, so but still giving up 3 kills is not a good trade for that.
No, especially when all of it gets pumped into the Anti-Mage. Not only as a Battle Fury, but it could be his BKB, so hey, with all of that together, Alliance actually have the ability to fight. Like, yes. Loader's actually useful during the engagements now, apart from just having a good mana void when someone's already expended everything to kill the teammates.
They need more arcane boots too. I'm surprised they actually have 0 arcane boots.
You talk about EG here?
Yeah, EG doesn't have any, and it's very difficult to sustain a push to the T3 16 minutes in without any arcanes, and you just don't want your mana pool to be low at all, so you can keep spells on the anti-mage, and more importantly, not to get mana voided.
Arteezy, the Universe isn't close enough. He actually went for the silence, but missed the timing on Loader.
Yeah, it's...
Admiral Bulldog though, he is not so lucky. Familiar drop down, they did use the Yule Scepter to initiate on him. With 2 of them too, it's like you miss one, you just go for the second.
Still, they need to kill Loda. He's 3-0-1. His farm is stacking up quite nicely after that botched attempt at a T3.
Well, right now, man, Alliance are being watched. They know they're so far away that it's so easy just to jump themselves in. The Army of Treants can do the work. Arteezy's even being shielded while they do this, but they've got Liquid Fire to slow down Roshan. This is all theirs. Easiest Roshan. They throw it into the Death Prophet.
This is the big timeline, though. Can they defend off a T3 push with an Aegis with next Death Prophet ultimate?
Are they going to defend top lane? Loader sticking around just a little bit longer there. Arteezy was the one to come in, but he wasn't able to get the silence to stop the escape out. And we get a Blink Dagger Jakiro to go with that Yule Scepter. Full-on initiation from our Jakiro core.
Counter initiation, I'd say, mostly. But it's really on Hani and Bulldog. They have to pull a miracle out in the upcoming fight, because if they get Yulesed and killed before they can pull off Panda Ultimate, it's almost lost.
They want to jump. Brewmaster jumps in. Hani, he's wondering where the rest of his team is, however. There was no follow-up jump. Anti-Mage could have jumped in there with him. I think that was the initial plan too. Hani blinked, he pinged the ground and said, jump with me. But Anti-Mage wasn't with him.
It's not worth it. It's not at a crucial enough time. Death Prophet's ultimate isn't up, so even if they do get the kill, by the time she revives, they'll have it up, and then they can just push, and they wouldn't have Panda ultimate up. So it's still a very risky venture, and that's pending that they even kill her with an Abaddon sitting right next to her. So they didn't know how many were up that hill. It's just not worth the risk of possibly losing your racks or getting that kill.
EG knew about it. They threw down that observer ward pretty, they saw it pretty early. So it would have been rather difficult to get the kill, but Arteezy now moves towards the top lane. So the final outer tower for Alliance is now being focused down by EG. They do have the Jakiro, but Universe just a little bit further away, still currently farming up. While Fear, he's now sitting at level 10.5 and has the Aghanim Scepter. So he also has resummon available. He'll probably want to find at least level 11 before he summons. And he's going to find even more money. So that top tier 2 tower, no fortification. Arteezy, easy last hit. And he goes up to almost 1,300 gold over on this Death Prophet. Still, though, leading the net worth board, it is Loader. Now with the Yasha also available, it's looking pretty damn good as this Anti-Mage.
So his items are definitely going to come at some point, and EG, they're not really finding too many kills on them due to, one botched Yule Silence. But more importantly, I think Alliance actually needs 4 staffs on their supports, 4 staves rather, because they don't have any combo breakers. Yeah, sure, Panda can blink in an ult as well as Batrider, but they can't actually save a target that is gone on unless they have 4 staffs, because there's just too much lockdown. The Yules into the THD Ice Path into a silence which lasts 6 seconds is just too much for any hero to handle. So they need 4 staffs so that they can kind of just drag the game out a little bit longer when anti-mage can be more relevant relative to the Jakiro.
Blink Dagger, Yule Scepter, Macropire first, into the dual breath, in with the Ice Path. There will be a multicast coming up from Arcade, but at the same time, Arteezy does another setup. The Ice Path back off cooldown now, and Arcade cannot run himself away. Even Arteezy going for the extra silence. Zai comes in to kill Secure with that last little attack at Lightning Proc, and they're looking to go high ground. Arteezy has Exorcism and Aegis to the Immortal. He wants to get the Yule Scepter up against, they could just go for a secondary Ice Path, but they rotate the bottom lane. That's where the damage came into the tier 3 tower. The fortification will slow it down, but with Liquid Fire, the second this fortification comes off, the towers are gone. The bottom ranks as well being focused. They're going for the melee to start with. They realize they have enough damage to do this.
They can't initiate with the Universe in this position, because if they blink on him, he'll just blink in Yules, and he'll counter-initiate the Batrider so easily, and then Abaddon can just shield whatever Brewmaster has to throw at him. So
what are you supposed to do? Wait until you've lost 2 sets of ranks and the anime just
well, they can't afford to get picked off like that, but I mean, so much damage has been done, and the dual Yules has already paid for itself. So again, this is just the worst time for Alliance to fight. They're caught in a really hard place. Do they really want to take a fight with Death Prophet Ultimate and an Aegis, or do they want to lose a Rax? It's going to be devastating losses either way.
Yeah. So they're basically picking the lesser of 2 evils, is what you're saying.
Yes. I mean, the only way they win this game is if they botch a fight. Like, for example, they push 3 as 3 like they did before and hope EG makes a mistake. It's not the best way to play, but it's the only way for Alliance to dig themselves out of this hole.
It actually looks like you're getting your wish over on the Jakiro. At least he starts with the Staff of Wizardry. So your 4 staff's going to be arriving for EG. And you got a full Mjolnir over on the Nature's Prophet. And also still another 1,500 gold to boot for that. While
Bulldog
PPD's
gets TP'd in on top lane.
You're right. He's actually been silenced up for the moment from Arteezy. There's no way away. And right underneath the Dire Observer Ward, but it's the vision again coming up from EG. They got perfect vision over every part of the Dire side jungle. There's just no space to move here for Alliance. They're getting suffocated.
Yes, and I mean, Loda has his Manta style, but he can't carry this 1-on-5.
No. Because even if he jumps in with a Mana style, there's no immunity. Like, if those familiars get the drop off, they're still going to be stunning up illusions as well as the real anti-mage.
Mm-hmm. And still no one can tank the Death Prophet ultimate. As soon as she pops her ultimate, like, they can't kill her unless they happen to
She's
kite
walking
Abaddon.
around with a plate mail and practically Shivas on Arteezy. This is a 22-minute, like 24-minute
She only has
Shivas.
1,200 HP, and that's a slight point of concern, especially if you get multicasted and you're like down 500 mana and get mana voided. It's not completely out of the question. So if EG is a little bit sloppy, they can potentially get a big kill on her, but they have to kill her like very, very quickly because Abaddon and then the Force Staff is going to be very
Loda's
dangerous.
asking for help here. PVD just walked into an invisible wall. I don't know if that ping just came out. Yeah, Arteezy, I think, is just being pinged out saying, yo, just check and see what's going on here. Loda's Invis rune still got a little bit more time left on it, while Universe is actually macro-paring to force out the top lane, so they don't have his ultimate available here. But Feeder still have 3 Familiars right behind him, and Loda actually body blocks him for a moment. The Familiars come out, they'll start their attack damage in. Loda, the Wrath of Nature, and Familiar drop down. A little bit more sporadic here, trying to get the extra follow-up stuns. Now the stun will actually hold Admiral Borg in position. Universe, no Ice Path available, and Fear will die up here on the top lane. The Brewmaster split, however, was committed at the last moment, while Arteezy just gave momentum to the bottom lane. So they have to come back, and they're actually searching for Arke in mid. And he runs as quickly as he can away to safety. With that Brewmaster ulti down, like even 4v5, they might be able to force up.
Oh no,
You don't want to
Prophet
force too far.
So that's pretty much the best way that they can end the fight is just killing Death Prophet, and this just makes it infinitely harder because if she just gets shielded at any time by PPD, BKB popped, and the Ghost will just continue to wreck their base. And as you said, Panda Ultimate is down, but without the Aegis, it's not the ideal time, but still, they have so much time to work with. I'd say at least another 10-15 minutes before they even need to really worry about anti-mage.
At the same time, like, this is EG who can just keep pushing the advantage. Don't give time for the anti-mage to come up. Just take the towers now. You got the power to do it, even if it's just chip. Throw a couple of liquid fires up the hill. You see how much damage is up the tier 3 tower. Now the Yule Step, blink in, Ice Path, they call Bulldog out. So there's no initiation. They got a double silence on Misery and Admiral Bulldog. He'll actually die right there. And Loda blinked himself in and instantly regretted decision. Moved himself back as far as he possibly could. Nice little multicast with the Ignite, but the tower still goes down. The Wrath of Nature bouncing through them. The Batrider actually came back to life again. He's searching for initiation in. The Familiar trying to keep him back, and the Ice Path from Universe also making it difficult to follow up, and they do get the pull back. Over on Universe, they might pick him off, but at the same time, Arteezy, his Exorcism is wearing off. They got chances now to follow this in. And Arteezy, he'll be shielded up, trying to battle up against Loda. Good Crypt Swarm onto 4 heroes. And Arcade, the Soul Assumption damage from Fear. He's got another one off cooldown too. Looking for Loda. He needs to throw it out. The Yule Slipper from Arteezy will send him up. I think even the damage from PPD is enough to kill him. And there it is. Loda will drop. And EG are getting closer and closer to victory. Admiral Bulldog, he does not want to die back. A forced up in. He's got Blink taken back off cooldown. But Zai, he jumps right after him. The clap from Honey. Then the split, the shield over on Zai. He can't get back out in time. Now Loda will even buy back. PPD stands his ground, takes the damage, and then will TP himself out. Mana Void to cancel it. And that's going to be at least some rebuttal kills here for Alliance, but it cost them a lot with their buybacks.
Yes, Anti-Mage had a buyback at that point too. And this means that Alliance isn't going to be able to contest the next Roshan without any significant cooldowns down on EG. Death Prophet Ultimate will be up fairly soon. They didn't have to use any buybacks. And yes, they overextend a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, their wiggle room is just so large that it's still a long ways off.
As far as net worth goes, they never went down. The experience was a little bit down, but they didn't really care about that. This is all turning into how many Raptors can we kill off? Because Alliance's clearance power, it comes from what? Firefly as well as Lotus Cleave.
I think the best chance for Alliance right now is to hope for an early Roshan respawn. We know it's not going to be super early.
It's actually almost a full 3-minute duration on it.
Yes, but if you're in Alliance's shoes, you're like, okay, the only way we can win is if we get the Aegis, we have to get the Aegis on Anti-Mage, or else if he dies one more time, we just lose the game. So I think he has to pick up Alliance. You just have to hope that they go for something like this, or they take too long to push, because
but you can't go in for Roshan because the next Prophet can just sit up on top lane and keep forcing it out.
Well, they had a small window while those 2 heroes were down, but I mean, the stars have not aligned.
They're coming again. They've got Arteezy actually having the disco effect on him, and then Admiral Bulldog actually picks him up and drags him back in again, but there will be shield protection. Arteezy, he is going to go down. They got the Mana Void off, but the Ice Path Macro Pyre is burning through their life points. Admiral Bulldog, he's almost ticking out. There will be a nice ultimate out from Misery, and Loda with a triple kill as it's animate. The Icebug fall from Universe, but Honey right in their tail. They're looking for more stuns. Zai's going to buy back into this. They want Honey down. The familiar birds are still here. Honey will drop. Loda, he's worth so much money right now. There's 7 kills over on him. He'll blink away to safety. The buyback coming out from the Crystal Maiden. They're just trying to hold on to their racks right now. The bottom lane's already forced its way in. The familiars are beating down the melee racks. There is a Yule Scepter over an Admiral Bulldog with the door breath. They're looking for some more stuns, but it's the familiar birds that do bring down the melee racks. And Bulldog, he's bottling up to try and keep fighting on this. Might be worth 4-starving Misery in, but he wants to go himself. He won't catch up to Universe or to Zai. Zai's already got a TP out. And Universe has his Blink and 4-staff available. And they got the melee racks on top.
Well, that's about the time that you really hope that Abaddon has a Blink Dagger. He actually wasn't able to save Death Prophet, and that's where she is the most vulnerable. 1200 HP, no BKB popped in. They chained their stuns nicely to drop her before the BKB was able to be popped. So Alliance getting a breath of fresh air there, but Visage, Fear is farmed. He was a somewhat core Visage, number 4 on net worth, but he has Medallion and Ag Scepter. That is incredible amounts of damage. He is going to work
He's almost finished his AC. Yeah. He's got a Hyperstone and a Plate Mail already.
Yes, so they're just very close to 1 Aegis away, and I mean, PPD is not taking any chances. His illusion is already sent into the Roshan pit, so if by some miracle Anti-Mage was able to sneak in a Roshan, or even think about sneaking in a Roshan, it's just not going to happen.
Well, for now, Alliance, they hold back. We do see the split push shutting, and this is what I was concerned about for Alliance. You want to try and come in and take Roshan, but as long as there's momentum in that top lane, you can't really fight up against it. Even sending one Treant forward with the Mjolnir effect over on him, this in itself almost kills off this entire creep wave just by itself if it gets the procs off, which it actually does. It takes the entire creep wave, just this one Treant right here. Most powerful unit in the game right now, as EG will have themselves a DC problem. And yep, it really is that time again, Fear. But we're 28 minutes in, and Alliance is got a creep wave pushing into their range racks up on top. The only way they could do it is if they say, you know what, range racks, we just let it go. We try and fight, but then EG is not really pressured to finish Roshan.
I think they might have to try for something else. Like, they might have to try and trade Hani's ultimate and his life to bait out a Death Prophet ultimate, and then try and just ignore the Death Prophet and take a fight without it. That might be a better option. And, I mean, ideally, you don't want to have to sacrifice a hero for that and get more off Panda Ultimate. But to be honest, Panda Ultimate is not that relevant at this point in the game. So I think they can try and maybe mess with EG's desire to end the game pretty much right now.
Yeah. But that means they're going to have a lot of patience behind them to do that. It's sacrificing one hero. I suppose when you're this far behind, you have to do
You have
something.
to take risks. I mean, what else are they going to do? Just try and fight and hope that RTZ is out of position enough and PPD is out of position enough so that they can kill Death Prophet again with ultimates up? They're going to let it happen once. Twice, I highly doubt it.
Yeah. TZ's actually already moving back up to top lane. They don't want to fight Roshan. There's no reason for EG to go in for it. He's not worth that much to have the Aegis the Immortal. So up they jump. And maybe Alliance then can pop themselves in.
Well, they just gave a free Rex with...
They're jumping in. Yeah, the top wave pushed in. Misery didn't stop it. EG just need that mid-ranks down now, and it won't matter if you have Aegis the Immortal. Up against Mega Creeps, Loda's going to end up half killing himself just defending the creep waves because he's got no regeneration. So also there's like a hero walking around with Vladimir's offering.
He should have gone over Rise this game. His Ags upgrade hasn't really done anything. His Panda ultimates have been... It just hasn't had that much impact. Not so much Hani's fault, it's just how the game has progressed.
Yes.
But if they had, like, they possibly could have snuck in Roshan right then and there, and that would have been a big lifeline to them in terms of extending the game at least 5 more minutes.
I think Loda just actually, I don't know if he broke smoke then, but either way, they are going to look to come in. But there's already Observer Wards up, so they can come in close. Misery's smoking a break and they can see him. Admiral Bulldog's also 5 flying in. He's one of the greatest heroes in the new Roshan pit, but already EG just back up. They're not under pressure. Admiral Bulldog finds one, but PPD just shields him, and the Euroscepter up. Follow up Ice Path. Loda has to BKB, but RTZ, he's got the ulti in here. They will pop the Brewmaster ultimate, but Fear, he's going down so quickly. That cleave damage with the Mana Void, it's not enough to get the kill. Loda's blinking himself away. There's just too much physical DPS. They go through the entire Brewlings. And what they really get from that, they lost more. Admiral Bulldog picked up Euroscepter, four-stopping him out, but the Ice Path hold is still there, and they even get the attack in with the silence, following just one after the other. It's a turkey shoot right now. RK will be the next one. It's a double kill for Arteezy. They'll move up the middle lane. Arteezy, there's your 4-star up. Misery had to blink himself away to safety, but Zai already inside the pit, holds Arteezy in a tree line, but they're going to look to bring down the mid-ranks. The buyback comes out from the Batrider, but there's no lasso available for him, so he cannot get the control points he's searching for.
They have to kill Arteezy. No other target will suffice in
Universe.
these team fights.
He's low. The illusions are coming out here from Loda. He's searching for an opening. There's 4-star Fear back. They're protecting his mana at the moment, and the Ice Path will keep these illusions out. But the top lane's pushing in. The bottom lane's going to force itself in. EG are under no pressure to fight this.
Not at all. Well, Anti-Mage does have a buyback, but, well, I still think that they can hope to sneak in a Roshan. That is their best bet. And Loda, even with a BKB, he can't man fight to Death Prophet. The Exorcism is too much damage, and RTZ popped his BKB at a very, very timely point in that engagement.
They actually can't sneak a Roshan unless someone else is carrying smoke. Yeah, they can't. That Observer Ward that's up right now, the Observer warning from EG, one on the cliff and one just a little bit further to the left of the top river. With these 2 points, they can't just walk themselves. Like, if they walk in, they get spotted. It's just that simple. Misery is coming in with a gem. They're all missing uphill, unfortunately, but they do manage to bring down this Observer Ward. So that means that there is a small gap for Loda to blink in, but it's just going to flag to him. He gets the Vladimir's offering on himself.
I don't think he should have revealed the item. He revealed it in mid. If he doesn't reveal the item, there might be some doubt in EG's mind that they're doing Roshan, but with no one defending mid and their T4s under siege, it's clear as day they're doing Roshan.
Yeah, and the Familiar's just jumping in, but he got a Euroscepter Ice Path on the Misery. Macropie committed, and Loda, he jumps in, triggers a BKB. There's already that quick kill with the Rat the Banshee killing the Crystal Maiden. PPD's only just triggers. So Loda, all of his damage goes for absolute naught, and the Brewmaster on his pit triggered off again. They've lost RK. Admiral Bulldog 4-staffs away to safety. He'll try and TP out as well. The Spirits are chasing down to him, but they won't connect. But Death Prophet up in the air by the Brewmaster ulti. Hani does blink himself away to safety. But there's still another 2 heroes down. The mid lane's battling it up, and it's Loda caught in the Ice Path here of Universe, buying some more space while Arteezy just going balls deep on that bottom lane. They might go for more though. Loda, he's back in again. Fear slowing him down. The blink is available and he will jump out. But Alliance are wounded and walking back into their base. While really EG, they've lost a couple of ultimates, but they've still got their top and bottom lane huge advantage for them. And Hani, oh man, he claps for the Ice Path. There's no macro player, but they got Familiars to jump in here. Admiral Bulldog, he got the lasso over on Arteezy, but Hani, he's already lost his line points, and there's your Euroscepter protecting Arteezy with also the multicast, slowing him down. That's a big hit from Loda with the Mana Void. Got to get some good spill damage out there that hurt Universe probably a hell of a lot more too. And Loda's mopping up these Familiars one by one. He's one short of taking all 3 of them, and there's no resummon available for Fear for a very long time.
It's Roshan time, I say. No Death Prophet ultimate, even if she buys back, they have to do it. it's a great time. And Loda has his Vlads, so they shouldn't be in any compromising position. And when Brewmaster respawns, he'll have his ultimate, so things are actually finally going Alliance's way.
Yeah, they can need a little bit more than this though. This is just stage 1. This is stage 1 of Alliance comeback right now. They are still 16,000 net worth behind. Their experience actually almost dropped a full 10,000 in favor of EG, but it only dropped down to maybe 7K. So it's not that far down. But they do have Roshan, they do have the Aegis Immortal now over on Loda. And they're just going to smoke out there as quickly as they possibly can.
They definitely should have. And EG's only lost, what, 2 relatively big engagements this game, and it's only because Death Prophet has either been
They forced up in. No multicast though. Not until he actually threw up the Ignite, but Loda, he still wants his kill over on Zai, and they may get it. A triple multicast over on Loda, giving him that bloodlust, and he's searching after PPD. There goes PPD's ulti. Loda stopped giving him life points, and now they get the extra stun. Multicast on him. PPD breaks free, but he's the one walking around with a gem, so they can get this back and take the tier 1 tower, but PPD's still not dead yet. Continues to shield up. They brought down the tower. Now he finally will drop. The gems on the deck. RK is not actually picking this up right now. But Alliance may try and force what to a tier 2 tower. The creep wave's on the way. But they're still a while off. While top lane, again, you've got this split push. Now on a Blink Daggering Universe away to safety. So the tier 4 tower is going to take a lot of damage. Harney's the man defending it. And Alliance's push is still on the back of Loda.
Surprisingly, the only mistakes that EG has made is something that they're...
Universe. There's your Yule Scepter into the Ice Path. No BKB. Loda doesn't need to for this, and he just keeps attacking the tower. He's still Liquid Fire up, getting silenced as well. They've got another controller over on him. There's your Yule Scepter. Ice Path's going to go a secondary time. Silence on cooldown 3 seconds. They burn the Aegis. If Arteezy can get the silence in time, there's a familiar drop BKB, down, and they go for it. Yep, there's your BKB. But he's still having to burn through this thing so much. He's down to 7 seconds on the duration, and Universe is keeping up with him. He's got Yule Scepter off cooldown. Now with the Ice Path, maybe trouble for Loda. He triggers the Mana Style, but silenced up. They need some more control on Loda. Blink, silence coming off cooldown, but the damage is enough. 79 seconds on the sideline. Prophet, the Sprout, the blink up. He didn't actually catch up Misery with that. But they're looking to get a little bit closer. Is there another blink Arteezy? Look at the speed on that Death Prophet. They're coming high ground, and Animate, there is no buyback. The multicast, triple on Arteezy. The Exorcism's going to wear off shortly, so we get all those life points back. The Earth Brewling's already down. They're going to drag back over on Zai. They can pick up the Aegis Prophet quite easily. And looks like the Brewmaster is still looking for another target. He needs to send somebody up and towards the air. The Ice Path will buy the space for EG to retreat out of here. But Hani is still keeping up with this. He doesn't have ultimate, but they do have fear. Loda's on the front lines, and he'll blink himself in, searching for PPD, burning off this mana of his. It's not enough just yet, but the top lane is still pushing in. There's only 1 tier 4 tower remaining here for Alliance. They can't keep taking these trades. Eventually, they're going to lose a fortress for it.
Yeah, especially if Zai decides to split push instead of taking these fights. But Loda is still very vulnerable, even though he's the highest net worth hero in the game. And I think EG has made a few mistakes this game. Firstly, I don't think the Shivas on Death Prophet has proven to be extremely useful. He could have gotten a Lincoln's a heart, and they would have both been more useful. And
it kind of felt more like you wanted to push with the Shivas more than anything else. Namra Bulldog, dude, be careful. He's lucky Nature's Prophet is dead right now because the Wrath of Nature would have killed him.
And the armor hasn't proven to be particularly useful either. And on top of that, EG has not played that well around Arteezy this game, and that's usually what they're known for, is just making Arteezy shine. But they push a couple of times without Death Prophet, they push a couple of times without Death Prophet ultimate, they let him die to the Bat Rider, although I thought that was more on his positioning rather than PPD's, and those are the only mistakes that I've seen EG like really make this game.
Well, we'll see if they're going to make a mistake on this one. A 5-man group up. The Familiars are actually looking for some kind of snipe off at the back tree line of in the Dire base. So I don't know if they're searching for a courier or if they're just searching for a hero. Either way, EG have almost every ulti off cooldown. The Wrath of Nature is only just triggered. So it pushes all the other lanes in. That mid tower's at 14 life points, 9 up by the Ogre Machine. The Brewmaster will be sent up, the Ice Path will connect as well. Harney, no ulti, 3 seconds on cooldown, but there's your jump out by Admiral Bulldog. He found Zai, and Universe, well, PPD couldn't get there in time to save him. Zai will go down. The ult just popped from Arteezy with the BKB to protect him, but the creep wave soaking up a lot of this. Then you also got Fear, stepping towards the end. Loda is waiting for him to hit the deck. He's waiting forever for this hero to hit the ground. Now he finally does. Misery as well. Fear being broken free by PPD, but it's not enough stability for him. They're going to lose out on these heroes. The Familiars are actually bringing down the Fortress while all this is going on. It's a triple kill for Loda. They're going to move into PPD as well. They have to look back to their base, however. The double TPs are coming in. The Familiars are rather problematic for Alliance, but all tier 4 towers down, which is what's making that Fortress exposed. But EG threw so many lives away for what? A tier 3 tower and the end of a tier 4?
This is actually really, really bad for EG. All of a sudden, they're going to have their T3s pressured. And even if they buy back, they're not going to have exorcism. This could potentially be close to game, although CM can't do anything versus the...
They've actually only got buybacks on Death Prophet and Jakiro. And now Death Prophet's used hers. The top lane is still pushing in again. The Familiars are coming in for round 2. The fortification is slowing down the tier 3 towers.
Can't come close. If he gets multicasted, it's very close to game.
Yep.
And luckily for EG, Roshan is not that close to respawning.
He's getting in really close though. Jakiro's not back up just yet. Loda, low on life. All he gets is the ranged racks, however, but he knew what he could get. But this Fortress, again, is under attack. The Familiars come forward, and Misery, as well as the Familiars, they just keep attacking directly into the Fortress. So they don't even care about heroes. They're going to lose one of these Familiars, however. Potentially two. A Nova reveal. Admiral Bulldogs is the Firefly. He's got them both. They have to resummon. There's no choice here from Fear. So they are at least making Alliance look behind themselves. The Fortress, though, will just regenerate quickly.
If EG loses this next fight, they'll probably lose the game since they don't have a buyback on EG. And
to lose that kind of... Look at the experience graph, man.
I mean, they didn't really execute poorly at all last fight. Zai was fairly far back, and Admiral Bulldog had an amazing pickoff there.
Yep.
But I mean, there wasn't any huge misplay by EG. There may be like deciding to push instead of going for a Roshan, but I mean...
These are two really big items to have before this fight. An Aghanim Scepter on an Ogre Majayu is a level 3 multicast.
And this is why Batrider will continue to remain a top pick, because even though he's 3 and 8, he's done his job.
Oh, look at him wait. Look at them wait. Misery's going to come forward. He never even knew it was coming, but now Admiral Bulldog, the Ice Path will go down. Loda got caught inside of it. He's already down to a third of his life points. The split will come up from Hani. The Crucimaten died very, very quickly, and they just keep trying to battle this one up. They need more. Where is he going? He's going all the way inside the base. The Ice Path won't save him. Again, they'll connect over on Loda. Where is your buybacks coming? Zion wants to send his ground. The Familiars, they're all dead again. And Loda, he's slowed down a long way. PB is on the front lines. They're throwing out the soul assumption damage into Arcade, but he got so many low people life. Maybe Loda, that's not enough damage to the Mana Boy, but Universe force-staffed away. 39 life points, turns for one last Ice Path. Then force-staff back down again. Find the multicast will kill him off, but they got the big one. They managed to bring down Loda. Hani clapping, brawling. It's not enough. They've lost too many heroes. The Batrider is defending the Fortress at the moment. The Brewmaster had to buy back. And EG though, are they out of fuel? Can they even push high ground against this?
Well, it's 4v2, I would hope so, especially with Brewmaster not having his ultimate up. But I mean, so many buybacks were used and they have just 80 seconds. And fortunately for EG, it's a very short Roshan respawn too, if they want to go that route.
Look at the Treants. They just want to keep the attack coming into this Fortress. Universe, he's battling in towards this mid lane. The Macropie is going to mop up the creep wave. While we've got Zai moving up towards the top lane. He picked up a Crystallis for now, but he held on to the extra money. That's why he didn't finish the Daedalus. He needed to have the money for the buyback. But with the Mask of Madness, if one of these creep waves come in, there is fortification available for Alliance. If this goes down, he can actually solve up the Fortress.
Yeah, it's nice that they have a secondary source.
Oh, Bulldog jumps in. They got PPD low again. Hani, he doesn't have ulti. He's 8 seconds. Admiral Bulldog! Oh, that's big! That's big! He's down. He buys back straight away. Loda's coming out to fight. He also bought back here. So a double buyback by Alliance. Nothing is left with their buybacks right now. And this range rack is down to half of his life points. And again, the Treants, they just bypass the mid racks.
Well, throne HP 2670, regenning almost 3 a second.
It hasn't gone down in the last 10 minutes.
I mean, they've been throwing a lot at it, though.
Yeah.
Alliance has been doing a very good job of constantly fending off the summons to keep it at a healthy HP so that EG can't all in on it.
I really don't want to see that, like the reincarnation of like when did EG throw last kind of website, because this right now, like you've lost a 16,000 gold advantage. You managed to drag it back. Your experience though, like that was still like a 10 to, like that was actually more than 10,000. That was actually a 17.5K swinging experience over the space of just 5 minutes.
There's only 2 heroes with buyback right now, so Roshan is extremely crucial. And about 30 seconds left on the respawn, and the only 2 heroes with buybacks are Nature's Prophet, very important, as well as Visage, not as important because his familiars do a ton of damage even with him dead. And
Blood is coming in to check.
Yeah, they have a gem there, and this is it's a very interesting fight because both sides have heroes that are very good at Roshan. Jakiro, I think, is very good in this narrow pit.
I still feel like EG shouldn't fight it though.
Well,
as long as they can keep up that top lane push, like they're going to keep Alliance pulled so far away from Roshan. He spawns up in 1 second now, and they're going to smoke. Yeah, I think Alliance realized it too. They have to deal with a split push before they can go for the next Roshan.
Yes, but at the same time, EG can't really split up at any point though. So if they can't commit with less than, I'd say 4, or else Anti-Mage will just completely destroy them.
Bulldog.
Master ult too.
There's a lot of movement speed on him. The smoke's going to break right now, but they don't want PPD. He's the one target they don't want. Fee, however, they'll take him any day. Drag him back down, and now Loda, he's in, but you're right, Zai, he's actually having a crack. There is still fortification. Harney comes out here to try and stop him. They're trying TP back, and that's what Arteezy is cancelling. He's holding Loda outside the base. 4-star up, they get him up the cliffside. That means away from the Ultimate Arcade. He's in a little bit too far right now, and he will go down. Harney jumping out, he's still got split bubble, does not want to use it. But the throne still stays alive for the moment.
You have to admire Alliance's vigilance and constantly keep an eye out on your throne. It's very easy to be like, oh, our smoke just popped. There's 4 heroes here. Let's take a team fight. And then before you know it, your throne exploded. You're like, what happened? And Hani was onto that immediately.
Yep. He was there before anybody else. Now he jumps in. Goes for the split. Arteezy, the man on the front lines. He BKBs, so they have to control Universe instead, but PPD's got the shield over on him. They're fire brilling, staying on the front lines. They need to get closer. The node from Misery all out, but look at the familiars. They're tearing apart across the maiden. Zai TP didn't finish the job. Now the LOA, set up in towards the end. Loda, still half on life points. And Admiral Bulldog, he gets a lasso over on Zai. The Nature's Prophet's gonna go down. The buyback instantly coming out from him. Harney, so low. The Crypt Swarm from Arteezy, able to finish him off. Universe needs an opening target, and he can't get it. Loda blinks himself up to safety. Admiral Bulldog backing up. Zai is actually taking out the range racks. Now focusing the melee, while the rest of Alliance, they have to get back here. Universe on like the Mana Void. Oda will pick up a double kill, but he's set up in towards the air. The BKB back up. The melee racks is still not down yet. They're mopping up the trees for the moment. Arteezy still on the front lines. We got more for support coming in. Maybe Arcade. Where's your multicast? No join of Misery. Letting the ulti rip. They got Arteezy. Triple kill for Loda. He's still up and running. Moves to Zai. Dropping him down. They need to keep this battle going. Loda, multicast, make him bigger. PPD, he'll drop. No, he won't. Loda doesn't finish the job. They're back to the melee racks. They've got to get rid of these familiars. 2 down, 1 to go. But EG, they're forcing themselves back. Bulldog still wants this pickoff. He won't find the opening. Even then, they can actually turn onto him. The Blink Dagger is available. He'll blink himself away. The Sprout, 4-star, goes up on top of the cliffside, but he's going to ward there. The Flame Break. Admiral Bulldog, he's down for the count. Support's coming in from Loda. There's just so many heroes low. He wants to fight this one, but he's silenced up. Nanasar will break free. There's no Mana Void available for him, so he can't get the kill straight away. Loda will be forced back for the moment. While the Familiars, they finish the melee racks in the middle lane. It was only one of them with a catapult, but it does the job. The battle of the rack continues. EG, they bring down all Rax's Das Megas.
Well, 0 heroes with buyback out of 10. And I mean, I thought Admiral Bulldog was going to live there. He had Firefly up, he had 4-step up, but I think he thought that he could kill Zai, but Zai still had Abaddon supporting in the back, so that was slightly ill-conceived, and maybe if he were alive, they could defend the racks, but I mean, it was an Ogre trying to dance around versus the Familiars, so I mean, if Fear could position his Familiars like right on top of the racks, and he probably can't hit it, so you definitely can't blame Aki for that, and that was, eventually they're going to break, and it's kind of ironic that this is happening to Alliance.
Oh, Lerna! It's Rapier time! It is Rapier time in Animate. He sells to Vladimir's offering. The problem is he can't take this unless he wants to drop a BKB. Maybe that's still worth it. Maybe that's worth it. It's only 5 seconds in duration.
He could drop the power tread since he has Bloodlust.
True. Familiar is coming in. It's going to scout it out. Loda getting bashed up by Roshan. He gets through the Familiar. What's he going to drop? Misery comes in, forced up in by PPD. What they pick up here? Crystal Maiden takes the Aegis Immortal. Roshan still killed by the Dire Side. Prophet died so quickly. And the Brewmaster only they'll allow to follow into PPD. There's enough with the clap, the stun. Meanwhile, back at base, Universe trying to force up. He's going to kill off Misery. Liquid Fire going into the Fortress. Misery, he had the cheese and the Aegis Immortal. Universe, 4 times to the multicast. He still picks up 1. Misery drops the ultimate down. The Liquid Fire's ticking. Arteezy in with the ultimate. They finish this job. Arteezy, he's a duke it out. The Mana Void kills him off. Besides, the only one up. 200. Maybe there's enough. 150 140, 136. It's not enough yet. They're still holding the line. Aegis Immortal comes up. They've got to keep the ready creep wave on. 55 life points. The Rapier is on the ground. Loader ended up dying. They need to save him. Misery is dying. They cannot allow the familiars. They're coming into June. Evil geniuses will take it. Disappointment from Alliance. They held as long as they possibly could. But up against Megas, they held the line as far as they could. But it was not enough.
That's one of those games where had Alliance played like slightly better in the first 20 minutes or delayed a Rax push by like 2 minutes, the game would have ended differently. But I mean, Evil Geniuses, I thought they were done for with Jakiro.
I thought so too. They were throwing everything they had at that fortress. And they bypassed the Rax so many times, like, well, not doing this Megas, we're going directly for GG. Like, that was the goal right there. And they almost lost the entire thing. They got smiles on their faces. You saw actually the expression from Loader at the end of that one. Like, it looked like disappointment directly on his face. If you could like tag it right there, that would have been it. I'm hoping though Alliance take out like the second half of that game. As you said, they like first part of the game, it didn't really work as well, but they played really well in the second half of that. If they can take that kind of gameplay and apply it to the entire of the second game, anything is possible for them.
Well, their lineup wasn't destined to succeed in the 20 minutes. I don't actually think they could have played that much better. They could have played slightly better, but I mean, it was just mainly the draft. They couldn't deal with the Jakiro and the Death Prophet in the early game, and the Nature's Prophet on top of that. But I would actually commend PPD for that. Again, the strategic pick with the Nature's Prophet always being there to counter the double roam.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of.
Well, I'm looking forward to game number 2. Of course, we'll have a beverage break, and we'll see you guys back here after this short break.